that, for example, the Kurds are not recognized in every accession report and so on and so forth. Do you think there's any chance that the Kurds will be identified in any official sense during this accession process, or do you think that that would be a step too far? That's kind of a red line. So.
You never know. It's politics. Really, you never know. You know, 5 years, or not 5, but 10 years before, you couldn't know that there will be such a big issue like a Kurdish problem in Turkey. There's always this issue. Of course, there's always this issue, but it has never been so much on the public's eye. Am I right?
I mean, the first instances of like at least discussing, debating about minority issues, the EU was a huge like instigator. The EU played a huge role, but I think it was more efficient in the initial phases. Right now, the EU accession process, I mean, in 2011, I'm talking, the EU accession process doesn't mean anything for anyone right now. I mean, because, I mean, people are very skeptical about the EU, and I mean, many people don't even, like Meltem Hoca said, I mean, don't even think that it's desirable. So, but in the first instances, I think it was important, but I think right now, it has a life of its own. I mean, now that the Pandora's box is open, I mean, I think it has a life of its own. I mean, people are demanding them. People want to talk. People want to discuss. So, I mean, I think right now what we can say is yes, there are many different social groups. There are the dominant ones trying to repress these other ones, but I mean, I think this process cannot be reversed right now. And I don't think EU is playing so much of an influential role. Maybe the last, was it last week? The European Parliament's report? No, the progress report was it? The latest progress report, the Commission was very critical of the freedom of speech, freedom of media and press. But I mean, people. In Turkey, people are protesting this anyway. We don't need it. I mean, right now, EU might have played a more influential role if it was more consistent with conditionalities. I mean, with the carrots at least. I mean.
These days, there is not a rumor, but a publicly, let me say, about. They say Europe will need us. No matter how much time it takes, but Europe will need Turkey, and most of the people in Turkey believe in this, really. Me, I also believe in this, really, because you will need us. About workers, your population is decreasing, and I don't know, maybe about economy, I don't have many ideas about economy, so I don't want to talk. And Prime Minister also made a statement. They will, this way or that way, accept us, he said. Really, it was on the news.
This is very populist discourse.
This is really popular among public.
People want to believe in this because Turkish people, have this inferiority complex when it comes to Europeans. So many people want to believe in this, but when it comes to politics, the only instance that Europe might need Turkey is the geostrategic position. When it comes to Turkey's position, particularly regarding Middle East. If Turkey, the state, turns its back to the EU and faces rather more Islamic countries in the Middle East, that might constitute a problem. That might constitute a problem regarding Turkish democracy, and this might constitute a problem for the EU, maybe.
But isn't that, I don't know exactly, but I'm not that much of an expert in this specific area, but the recent developments in the foreign policy of Turkey with Davutoglu, the foreign minister, where they focus more on like the regional role of Turkey, and not so much the EU thing, at least. Like they're talking about this ring of friends kind of thing, and you know, the relationship to Iran and things like that. That has been a bit controversial other places in the world. Do you see this as like an expression of the also like the economic thing that that Turkey feels more independent and confident?
Yeah.
Like also people have talked about you know, words such as new Ottomanism in this relation as well.
Definitely. I mean, when you consider the first term of the AKP government, there were more EU friendly, yes, because they valued democratization, because democratization, just like we discussed, would bring about, would give expression to more conservative views, because that's what the social fabric is in Turkey. Plus, I mean, Islamic parties have been closed, and they have the pressure from the military, so more democratization meant more conservative and Islam-oriented parties would have a greater freedom.
Yeah.
And yes, when you consider the second term, I think the economic boost definitely played an important role in, I mean, giving more confidence. And I mean, in Davos, for instance.
Oh yeah.
Walk out. Sure. 1 minute thing. I mean,
it was pretty.
It was, yeah. So, I mean, you can see the. I mean, Israel has been an ally for Turkey for how many years? I mean, it's the time that our relations are strained the most, probably. So, I mean, you see a shifting foreign policy there, definitely, I think, and this is also like ibret nasıl dedim yani. This is like also showing off to EU, I think, showing that we are a big player in this region and we can do whatever. I think, I mean, this is my personal opinion.
So it could also actually, I'm saying maybe that it could be like also a tactic in order to.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing, because in the first period, as she said, we were like dying for EU, but then they have some problems. They have rejected some chapters. They have rejected and they have criticized us, and then we suddenly, in the second period, said that okay, we don't want you. We are going to ekseni kaydıracağız, and we are going to face our faces to east. And when we say that, again, you know, this revolutions and kind of thing in east, and then these days, suddenly we are again talking about EU. Guess why?
But there are reasons for that. I believe Islamists are pro-European Union, as they believe they can benefit from the freedoms. They can benefit freedoms which can come as a result of EU process. For instance, you know, a couple years ago there was a case, headscarf woman sued Turkey in Court of Justice. And Court of Justice said in its decision, you know, it's Turkey's issue, so it's not a human right violation. Turkey can make its own laws. You know, it was about being in universities with that kind of law. So that was a, you know, turning point in the attitude of the government. You know, I think they was kind of disappointed with that.
Yeah, Meltem just said this in the last lecture. It's the turning point because of the rejection of that case, and that woman is actually the wife of the president of Turkey, actually.
But does it also have something to do with the attitude of European Union? Like, you know, European Union is using a carrot as a award.
Give and take.
But using a carrot is not an easy job. You know, if you pull it too much, it can create a reaction. So maybe if Europe keeps doing this, you know, you're not good enough.
Say it openly.
Yeah, you know, it can radicalize Turkey's position. Like, you know, think about Russia. Russia is a big power, you know, but it's out of Europe. No one is talking about if Russia is part of Europe or not. Russia is a big power, but out of Europe. you know, I believe if EU goes on doing that kind of, you know, if it doesn't promise a new award, like I don't know, maybe it's hard.
But isn't the problem that right now Turkey has maybe got the big, you know, the bitter cards on their hands because of the economic situation?
The carrot is not quite as big anymore.
And well, the stick is not really.
But we want to give this impression of we don't need you to Europe constantly. I don't know why, but constantly. And about the energy issue, again, after the crisis of 2008, you need supply diversity. And this, for example, if you take Turkey in, we have an energy course, therefore we're going. And you know, you have good parts if you have us, but also there are bad guys.
I will say from Czech perspective.
But in the dark.
Like people are talking all about this earnings from EU. For example, Czech Republic is already 7 years in EU, and people are really kind of disappointed because the change didn't affect the main people on the street. I mean, there have been some changes, of course, law, market, everything, but the normal people don't feel it, the changes, because their life didn't change too much. Also, the freedom of mobility that you mentioned. Yes, you will have the easiest way to travel, but still, a lot of people don't have the money for travel. So they stay stuck in the same point, didn't help the accession of the EU. So, also about the Turkish people in Czech, there's not a big problem, I think, with kind of integration. But still, like, they have kind of imagination of Turkish people, they won't give up. For example, Turkish company bought Çedok, which is the biggest and state travel agency, and it was really in bad conditions, but Turks made it really working out. And I will now make kind of a combination, which will be maybe lame, but still. Now in 2 months, I think, entered this TV show, Gece, 1001 Night. And people, there was a huge discussion. I've read some forums, and I was getting really, really mad because they were talking only about, of course, look at them. They say to his wife, or talking in a highest way, not like in a family, they're like